Holy shit, what? It's a Wildstar video, what? Actually, this one's like little open letter / rant deal about something that happened today that I want to talk about right now while it's still like in the ethos. So, a little bit of background here. Wildstar today, Carbine announced level 50 character tokens on the store. We don't really have a price yet, they just kind of announced them. They're going on the PTR soon, so it's kind of up in the air and nebulous as to what's happening. But the point is, they announced character boosts, not dissimilar to World of Warcraft's character boosts. And I mean, that's cool and all. You like, do your thing, you know, whatever. Like, Wildstar's leveling has always been the weakest point in the game, so getting over it for a small fee might not be a bad thing, especially if that's optional. I mean, it takes literally 2 days some of these times, but yeah, whatever. As someone who has 4 level 50 characters in Wildstar, I mean, it makes sense that they would do this. Wildstar's a very top-heavy community. Most of the community is at max level, and that discourages a lot of players at lower levels, so being able to kind of skip the leveling process and jump up is not necessarily a bad thing, so long as it's not priced horrendously, Carbine. Don't price it horrendously. But I was trolling around, like, the internet, you know, as usual, and of course, we have the usual backlash. There's people calling us a blatant cash grab, and there's people who are saying they won't play the game because it has a leveling boost, and I just want to dispense some knowledge on you people, so take a step back, sit down, and stop being pricks. We're going to talk about some non-fatalism here. First of all, I want to talk about the idea that this is a blatant cash grab, which is hilarious to me because this is a free-to-play MMORPG. So this game is free to pick up and play, and they add an optional feature which allows you to bypass the leveling, which, by the way, is the most boring and non-competitive part of this entire game, and get to the top and do the fun stuff that is enjoyable right away for a nominal fee. A fee that has yet to be determined, and if Carbine decides to make it a little bit too high, then I'm sure the community will righteously backlash against it. The point I'm trying to make is, you're calling a free-to-play MMORPG's microtransaction a blatant cash grab, despite the fact that microtransactions are the entire business model of free-to-play MMORPGs. And fucking free-to-play is dead, you know, microtransactions and free-to-play games are ruining free-to-play games! Adding microtransactions to this game isn't so much a blatant cash grab as it is continuing with the business model that has worked for them for a little while now. I mean, EXP boosts were already in the game in the shop, which is basically kind of the same thing over a longer period of time. Being able to buy your way to 50 is fine, being that the leveling content in Wildstar is utterly irrelevant. And then, of course, there's the people who are like, oh, it's a fucking, taking it from WoW, this whole leveling token thing. What? I'm not gonna come back now. Fuck that. It's got a leveling token. What? What's wrong with having an optional part of an MMORPG be part of a game? I mean, if you had PvP in an MMORPG, and you didn't like PvP, but it also had PvE, would you not play that game for the PvE because it has PvP in it? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's an optional part of the game that you can buy into to reach max level quickly. It's not the fucking end of the world. It's not the end of this game. It's something you don't have to engage in. You don't have to be a part of. And it's something that, quite frankly, was probably sorely needed by Wildstar at this point. Because I'm sorry to say, there's not many people leveling through this game, and the leveling is probably killing it for a lot of players. I can happily say right now that so long as this is moderately priced, and I cannot stress enough how much this hinges on how much Carbine decides to charge for this, this is probably going to be an improved experience because you get to level 50, you engage immediately in the best content that Wildstar has to offer. I'm not going to lie to you. Dungeons, adventures, and raids in this game are phenomenal, and they're what everything is building up to. But the leveling content is utterly irrelevant when put against that light, and sadly you don't get to experience any of this at leveling because the game's got an incredibly top-heavy community and nobody is queuing down to the lower-level dungeons because there's no reason to. There's a whole bunch of stuff there that they could have done to improve the leveling outside of this, but I think that the Wildstar leveling token is fine. It's an optional part of a game where you can skip the worst part, and unarguably the worst part of Wildstar, the leveling experience. Because I'm sorry, Carbine, it's just MMORPG leveling in probably the most boring sense of it. It's good to see that Carbine is taking steps to kind of remove this, and I hope that they continue to take steps to improve the leveling experience, because I honestly believe that that's a sticking point for a lot of people coming into this game. And I would say, why not give it a try? I'm not saying that I would buy one, and I'm not necessarily encouraging you to buy a level 50 character boost. And of course, it all hinges on Carbine pricing this thing so that it's not outrageously expensive. But I guess we're going to have to see as time goes on. This has been a little rant about Wildstar. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.